Damn, Missy Mari got beat.
Pretty sore from squats yesterday, so today Alan's got tempo squats and block pulls. I'm gonna block pull with him, and then I'm gonna pause squat instead of tempo squat. But I'm gonna block pull kind of light because we got a live stream on bodybuilding.com Friday, and I want to pull heavy there. So we'll probably pull a heavy single and some drop sets on Friday. So today we'll just kind of cruise. We'll get some work done. Friday I might also do sumo, but today off the blocks we'll go conventional, work the low back, pause squats. I think I'm gonna squat. I mentioned last time, kind of underloading. So with underloading, I'm gonna probably pause squat 3 times a week, and then heavy competition squat once a week here with Alan. The boy, homie Jacob and Connor should be here around 2 or 3, so I'll bench with them. So we're gonna split those sessions up basically, even though it might line up because it's already 12. So we'll see how long block pulls take. I might grab coffee and food in between. Didn't eat that much, just ate a burrito, but timing's different every day. So I like to be in a routine where I'll eat at 11, train at 2. Today I just ate a little bit late, but I'm feeling fine. Time to get some blood flowing because I'm sore as shit. That, my friends, is the delicious sound of a nitro cold brew. About to go hit some back and biceps, but first I want to hit you guys with a little bit of knowledge because it seems like you guys like the bullshit that I talk about, even though some people are complaining about rambling. First off, a little warm-up, just what I've been doing to cue in my glutes, warm up the hammies a little bit, showing a little bit of what Alan does. He's having some quad soreness because of the extreme volume and frequency he's handling in squats, so he's been doing a lot of body weight squats, he said, some lunges, and even just some light stuff with the barbell before we get moving. I also do kind of a hip circle routine, and I need you guys to do me a favor. If you like the knowledge I'm dropping, seems like you guys like talking about programming, lifting, etc., give this video a like, and also check my last video. I had my homie Jacob Ross. He trains a lot of top-level NFL, Olympians, sports teams, athletes in the past, and right now is working with Luol Deng of the Lakers pretty exclusively. And he basically just takes me through dynamic warm-up, similar to my strength coach had me do in high school, but also what a general warm-up that he uses for many of his athletes. Now, coaching, programming, etc., there's kind of blanket things that work, and then from there you would troubleshoot and figure out what works or what's needed for that day, for that athlete, for that week, for that micro or meso cycle, etc. So, but a general one that'll help you guys just get some blood flowing, keep some athleticism in you from all the squatting and deadlifting. Now, for the topic of the video, I do some rambling in between. I like to update you guys how I'm feeling throughout the session, but what I want to talk about is kind of accessory lifts versus exercise variation. And people always, leave me questions both here on YouTube comments and Twitter and Instagram. Mike, what's the best accessory for a deadlift? What's the best accessory for the lockout of my squat? What's the best accessory for speed off my chest on a bench press? And I will be doing a series coming up with my favorite exercise variations on all 3, bench, squat, deadlift, and maybe even the overhead to build more strength and more hypertrophy in those muscles used. But first I want to talk about kind of the definition of each. Now in my mind, there may be a more textbook answer and a more definite answer, but in my mind, exercise variation is what we need to more focus on if you're a power lifter. That means that we're taking the movements, squat, bench, dead, or whatever it might be, even clean and jerk and the snatch, and we're just changing one aspect of that lift. So the simplest example is squat, bench, or deadlift, and then you shorten the range of motion. So you're doing a block pull where the bar is elevated either on racks or a block or whatever. You're doing a squat, but you're squatting to pins. You're doing a bench press, but you're using blocks or pausing halfway like a spoto press. That's one example of many. If we're talking accessory lifts, we're talking maybe something for the deadlift would be a bent over row. Maybe something for the bench press would be a JM press. Maybe doing something for the squat would be lunges or step-ups. Now, obviously, there's knee flexion in a step-up and lunge, which is similar to a squat, but the actual movement pattern is going to differ very much so than your actual competition squat for your 1 rep max in the sport of powerlifting, or even a 1 rep max squat for someone who's trying to get better at weightlifting or general sport. It is just simply a different movement. Although I'm feeling sore, it actually feels pretty good. 315 double overhand. I know it's obviously nothing, but once you get to 315, 405, I can kind of tell how the day is going to go. And I'm still going to try to go light because we have that live stream Friday, but so far so good. Hammies don't hurt so much, probably because the limited range of motion. Squats will probably hurt a lot after this. Which I guess leads us to the next question. When, where, how do I program in accessories versus variations? Now, I think of it this way. Something like a variation in an exercise, you know, a block, pull, etc. As I mentioned, I will get more into them as the series starts later on. Something like that can carry over or perhaps fix or help an issue, whether it be technical, muscular, whatever it might be, a cue, quickly. Something like an exercise variation is something kind of for the now. It can maybe help you in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or 8 weeks. Something like a accessory, like a tricep kickback or a glute bridge or a chin up, anything of that nature, where the goal of a variation, I think, is to perhaps deal with a weakness, but more so handle a different load in a different way, different stimulus, a different technique that's just slightly deviated from the main competition lift. Whereas an accessory, the goal should be to build hypertrophy, you know, something like an isolated movement. Most accessories are isolated movements. Also, to build balance and muscle in the long term. So something like a chin up, in my opinion, you can't do for 2 weeks and see a benefit on the squat, bench, or deadlift. You can't see a benefit as an athlete, trying to take an impact on a tackle on the field or dunk on somebody or get a rebound in basketball. But long term, you start building a bigger back, bigger grip, lats, traps, etc. from those movements like a dumbbell row, barbell row, chin-ups. That long term can build a great foundation structurally when now we're talking 6 months, year, 2 year, 3 year down the road, that will overall, yes, help in sports and help the deadlift overall. Now, can you build a big enough foundation and base just deadlifting, bench squatting, maybe overhead without these accessories? And I think some would argue yes. And my question would be, isn't can you do it, but is it optimal to do it that way? And in my opinion, no. I think it's always optimal to kind of leave no stone unturned. And if a barbell row, chin up, whatever it might be, is going to ultimately help you deadlift the most possible for your genetics or your path or your journey in strength, then the sooner you start to implement them once, twice, even 3 times a week, the better. Right now, I'm doing some type of back and bicep day, 1 for aesthetics, but for 2, because I know when I start to get more specific in my deadlifting, going back to sumo, going back to off the floor, etc., to pull 750 and 800 in the years down the road, that the stronger I can build my base of my back, my lats, the easier that's going to come once I do turn specific. Now, when to add those things in terms of experience, that's going to be hard to say because, as I mentioned, I think you can build a good base with just bench, squat, dead, and overhead. But that kind of depends on your mobility, your athleticism in general. Sadly, whether you guys want to admit it or not, some of us are just better athletes than others. And the better athlete you are, the better position you tend to get, the more body awareness you have in these lifts. And when you have better technique, as we mentioned in the previous video of don't lift too heavy or stop lifting heavy, that the better body awareness and the better technique you have, not only do the more weights you lift or the more weight that's possible to lift, the more you stay safe, but also you recruit the proper muscles at the same time. If your body awareness, technique, athleticism isn't as good, that's obviously going to be harder for you. And maybe you do need a more variety in your accessories and training to get the proper sensation to get your back flat in a deadlift, to get your knees out in a squat, etc. If you're a very good athlete, maybe you can stay upright, force your knees out easy with the squat right away. If you're not, maybe we need to do different monster walks with a band and glute hip thrusts and lunges and different things to build the mechanics to even be able to do that. Hopefully that made some sense. Leave some comments below with different questions you guys want me to cover in these voiceovers. It seems like you guys like the lifting footage and voiceovers, so I'm going to try to keep bringing more knowledge and helping you guys out. With Alan's programming, he's going like 3 squat days a week or so. 1 kind of competition, One's kind of a tempo and one's like a pin or something. I'm copying and stealing some of that, where I'm just going to go 3 beltless paused. Maybe one of those pause will be with the belt, and then the heavy competition day with him on Monday. So I'm feeling a little beat up. Back's pretty tired from those block pulls, which is good. So now I'll do some pause squats and really work my quads. So I'll really focus on staying upright and just driving with my legs, kind of turn it into more of a bodybuilding exercise. I don't know what our reps are, but I'll probably do 3 or 5s. You're going 5s? He's going 3 by 5. I'll probably go 3 by 3 or 3 by 5. We'll see how lazy I get. It's empty in here. It's cool. The homie Jacob's on the way, so I'll do this, maybe run to the gas station, get a snack, and then bench. Hopefully then we covered what the difference maybe is between accessory lifts and exercise of variation or variations of the lift. But when and how do we program those into a lifting protocol or a strength and training program? Well, the other common question I get is, Mike, do I, deadlift on leg day, or do I deadlift on back day? Or Mike, can I squat and deadlift on the same day? And the answer is all and none of the above. As a powerlifter, as a strength athlete, as a basketball player, you don't go into the basketball player doesn't go into the gym and say, oh, today is just a shooting day. I'm not going to work on dribbling or defense today. Typically, you just work on becoming a better basketball player. Although the focus may change, maybe you're especially working on your jump shot this day, that doesn't mean that you're not going to dribble, and that doesn't mean that you're not going to work on your change of direction, explosiveness, or just general footwork leading into that jump shot. And that's going to be the same for strength training. We don't isolate the day by a lift always, or always by a body part. Absolute worst part of lifting weights is unloading fucking plates when you're done. If you work up to 4, 5, 6, 700 pound deadlift, 4 or 500 pound squat, unloading 5 plates per side is so annoying. I don't know why, because there's literally no way around it. Alan's about to overhead press. I'm gonna wait till about 3:30. It's about 1:55. Wait for Jacob to show up. I might go grab coffee and a cookie, and it's time to jam. Ladies and gentlemen, what's that singer's name? Timmy fucking... Tiny Tim. Depending on the experience of the athlete, the goal of the athlete, I'll then start to figure out the frequency and volume they may be able to handle in a week. So depending on life schedule and just what's optimal, if you can train 4 times a week, but we need to get in 3 to 4 squat sessions, 3 to 4 bench sessions, and 1 to 2 deadlift sessions, it's just going to be that you're going to deadlift, squat, and maybe even bench on the same day multiple times. What day is it? It's not a deadlift day, squat day, back day, or leg day. It's just the amount of work we have to get done in that training session. So that's why, the old adage of, stop working out and start focusing on training, or whatever the little meme says, is kind of true, where we're just focusing on getting better, and that's the work that we have to do in that day. Now, in terms of accessories, I'll go more into detail on accessories and variation in these next video series coming out in a couple weeks, but the exercise variation is a great place to implement when you're doing a higher frequency program. If you're working at 70-80% on the competition squat every single day, it's going to get difficult. But if you throw in a pause squat, something like a tempo squat, even a front squat, Olympic style squat, whatever it may be, it limits the beltless squat. It eliminates the amount of weight you can handle on that day, and then allows you to get good work done, even though the frequency is high and you're not handling the same load as you would be as if you're doing the full competition squat with knee wraps, belt, whatever it may be. In terms of accessories, again, it depends on the goal, obviously. That's why talking about programming in a video is hard, because it is so individual based on experience, goal, strength, technique, all these factors. But accessories are something I tend to do more so in the off season. If I'm preparing for a meet, me or a client or an athlete I'm coaching, that's when we really start to hone in on the specificity of the sport of powerlifting, and we do squat, bench, dead regularly. We'll do some accessories warming up. Maybe we'll do some face pulls and some chin-ups just to stay balanced, symmetrical, and healthy, to kind of prep ourselves to lift the bench press. But the majority of our focus, maybe 90% or more, is going to be on the squat, bench, and deadlift. In the off season is time we need to make improvements, and that's also where exercise variation and the accessories get turned up. And maybe, depending on the athlete, the breakdown is more like 70 or 60% squat, bench, dead, and 30 or 40 100% accessory to build that hypertrophy, to build that long-lasting health and longevity in the sport. Smashing on 355, haven't touched that in a while, felt good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Do your boy a favor, like, subscribe, share this bitch out. More content coming hard, guys. I'm bringing it. Leave the comments below. Energy's fired up. I'm sipping on that coffee. Let's go. Appreciate you guys. I truly do. Silent Mike, I'm out of here.